So, reflecting on what we have just seen, who is a caregiver? Now, when we talk about a carer, as we have seen it in the video, it could be anybody. It can be a child, a sibling, spouse, and most of the caregivers are family members. Now, when we talk about a caregiver, there are two categories. Either it's a paid caregiver, somebody we are taking support from an external resources, or it is also going to be an unpaid caregiver, which is nothing but our family member, the loved one whom we are caring for. Now, what does a caregiver do? A caregiver tries to simplify the living of the patient or the individual who is going through challenges. It could be a patient with physical illness, it could be a patient with mental illness. Now, we are, as a carer, we try to help them with the activities of daily living. Now, when we talk about carers, most of the patients in the world live at home, and especially when it comes to the mental health care. And in the developing countries, there is some kind of resources available. But when we talk about, the underdeveloped countries or the rural areas, there's very limited support. So most of the care is taken by the family members. And when we talk about caregiving, the caregivers are not even aware of what is it they want, what is it that they need to do as an individual. We just strive to do the best of what we can. So let us look at what is the role of a caregiver. Let us try to understand the role of a caregiver. So when we talk about caregiving, what can a caregiver do? So to know about a caregiver, it is all about, trying to get ready for the role by understanding the work that is required, the skills that will be needed, and the amount of time and energy that is going to be required during the process of caregiving. That is something that we need to understand what a caregiver does. Now, when we talk about how do we really have to change ourselves, what do we have to understand towards adapting the role of a caregiver? So, there are a lot of things that are required, but when we talk about understanding how we really have to change, it is about the aspects of our lives we are trying to fit in the caregiving work, where you are trying to have a role in addition to your own life, there where you're having an expectation to give in the best to your loved one. But is this something that we can do all by ourselves, or what are the challenges that come our way? Whatever I am doing as a caregiver, is it right or wrong? Do I need to adapt to certain changes? Let us look at these things. Now, before we talk about the, you know, what are the things that are adaptable, what is good for us, let us understand where is it coming from? What do we really have to do as a person? So when we talk about caregiving, the first thing that comes to our mind is burnout. There's a lot of frustration. It's a very, very challenging role. It's overwhelming as an individual. Now, for example, when we talk about caregiving for a certain individual, let us consider an example of person with dementia, somebody, an elderly who is having memory loss. Now, when we talk about this particular disease, caregiving is involving yourself in doing everything for the patient. Now, that everything involves you have to help them with their activities of daily living. You have to help them with recalling their memory. You also have to help them with a lot of physical activities which will help them to be active. You also have to keep them more active mentally. So this is not just like, it's so difficult for us as an individual to keep ourselves involving into a, having a checklist in all these categories, be it our physical health, our mental health. But there's something that we are doing for one additional person. So yes, it becomes very, very frustrating certain times, because you are in a role where you are trying to give in your 100%, but there is a miss that is going to be there at some point or the other. We cannot do all the things. And the person who is there on the other hand, whom we are trying to give the care to 100%, they are not able to convey the message completely to us, because even they are new to this role. So they don't know whether whatever they are doing is, should I be accepting of whatever they are doing it to me, or should I ask what is genuinely required? So there comes in a frustration, because we are not able to sink in well, click well with the emotional responses, and it just becomes a difficult role to handle on a day-to-day basis. It impacts us physically as a caregiver, because you're trying to take care of our body is made to take care of ourselves. But when you're doing the same work additionally, because you can't give up on your life as an individual, you will still have work, you will still have additional family members, you will still have social life. So try to keep in all the aspects along with this additional task on every single day is going to be physically draining. And yes, there is going to be a lot of mental stress an individual goes through. Apart from this, there's also called, something that's emotional stress. There's financial stress that an individual goes through as a caregiver. Now, in terms of emotional stress, I'm doing everything. It is difficult if the carer is a person whom I is a part of my family. If I'm trying to take care of somebody who is part of my family, I'll not be able to, it is not very easy for us to accept that thing, that okay, they are going through this. So it just gets difficult for us. There comes in the emotional stress and financial stress, of course, because there is a dependency. You are having a limitation of time. So you are trying to give in as you have to withdraw from your certain responsibilities to take in something additional. So there is going to be a financial burden as well. Even if you're looking for additional resources, talking about the developing countries, there are so many resources currently available in India and across the globe. So, but these resources are quite expensive. These are because they are not covered under any government policies. So they are very, very expensive for a normal middle class or an upper middle class, or even, the lower economic background individuals to go through. And majority, there's hardly a high class section of society which is covering only 35 percentage of the world. So that just becomes very challenging in general for an individual. Now let us look at what are the symptoms that a caregiver goes through. So when we talk about the first symptom, that's denial. As I said, it is about the disease, about its effect on the person who has been diagnosed. It just gets very difficult for us to accept that they are going through something which is not going to be staying normal as they have been all through their life. It is going to be different. Now, the next thing, there comes anger and frustration. Now, it is going to be anger at the patient, or it's also going to be frustration at oneself that you are not able to do the things that you were doing earlier in life, and also a frustration that why am I not able to make my family member do this particular thing? Why am I not able to, make them live a life which is very so-called normal in a box? So that just adds on as an additional stressor. Now, the next thing that's there is social withdrawal. This is the most common thing seen in any of the caregivers. We try to withdraw from friends, from family. It's like, okay, yeah, I am done with everything. I don't have time to invest myself into any other new role. Be it like, suppose I'm being a caregiver for my mother. Now, I would not have that additional time to invest myself in socializing with my sibling, or with my extended family, in-laws, or with my extended, friend circle, or even in my colleagues, the workspace. So, and also we tend to withdraw from the activities that used to make us feel good, something like just relaxing for a certain period of time. So these things are not going to be there. We tend to withdraw when there is an additional episodic stressor that we are going through. The next thing that's there is anxiety. What is this anxiety? Anxiety about the future. How am I going to face things? What is it that's going to happen to my family member? Or what is it that's going to happen to the patient? Or it's like, okay, this day is done. What about the next day? How am I going to start it? That's something that's going to make us very, very anxious. And there is also depression that we go through as caregivers. If there is extreme episodic phases of stressors, then there is depression that breaks your spirit, and it affects your ability to cope up, to give in your best, not just in the role of caregiving but also towards your self care. There is exhaustion that makes it nearly impossible to complete necessary daily tasks for us. We are not able to focus on our health because we are always thinking about the never ending list of concerns. Even if you go to bed, you're like, okay, what do I have to do tomorrow? I have to get up at this point of time. I have to do this task. I have to make sure that the patient is doing all well. So there is a disturbed sleep that individuals go through when there's extreme stressors. And of course, there's also going to be irritability. What is this irritability? It's basically our moodiness, that is coming because of the triggers, the negative responses, and the actions that we are coming across that are basically the challenges. Like, for example, I am trying my best to make a person do a physical exercise, make a person do a physical exercise, but they are not able to do. Now, is this something that they are not doing by willingness? No, it's because of the decline in their health, they are not able to do it. But I will, as a human, I will not be able to at first understand that. That all comes in later, or being empathetic, trying to understand, understanding the causes behind it. All these things are later part. The first immediate response that's there, because we have this adrenaline rush, the fight and flight hormone in our body, because of that biological response, we're like, what is this? Why is it not happening? So we are irritated by our own self, we are irritated by the other person, or even the little things that go here and there around us just bother us to an extreme extent. We are not able to pay attention to anything that we are doing. It's like we try to put ourselves into an automated mode. It's like just an autopilot mode where things are just happening and happening. But if there is a miss, we'll not be able to understand. It is mainly because you are not in a frame of mind to understand what is happening because of the low concentration levels. We know it well that sleeplessness, physical health, decline in physical health, all these aspects do have a high impact on our cognitive self. And concentration is a cognitive skill which is going to get impacted. Now, when we talk about the health problems, if we do not prioritize ourselves, there are going to be a lot of health problems. It is a thing that we are aware of subconsciously or consciously. Everybody is aware that stressors are going to impact our health. How is this stressor going to impact our health and develop other health problems? Now, taking an example of having a stressor for an episodic phase of 6 months, if there is an extreme stressor that we are going through, it will have an impact on our blood flow levels. Now, how our body functions, that is impacted, which might cause hypertension, which could also cause extreme phases of it, could cause cardiac issues, could also cause mental health problems, psychological problems that we might go through if we do not understand the stresses. So these are the major symptoms of stresses. Now, when we talk about stresses, if you have ever experienced any of these being a caregiver, it is a humble request. Try to connect and consult with your family doctor, because this is something that's going to help you to understand how to take care of yourself and the other person. It is very, very important for us. Now, moving on to the next thing that's there is, we are trying to do everything that's possible, it's just going to leave us exhausted. Now, the important thing that's there is, we need to learn to seek support of our friends, our family, other caregivers who are going through similar experiences. This will really help us as an individual. Now, let us look at what is it that we can do to take care of ourselves as a caregiver, prioritizing the caregiver self-care. So the first thing that's there is we need to be aware of what is available. Explore and understand what are the resources that are available in and around you, within your society, within your family, and the informational support that you can get from the social media, from reaching out to the doctors, to the right professionals that will help you. The next thing that's there is please be open to taking external support. It is absolutely okay to take some external support. So it is not, when I say external support, it is not that okay, you are only have to be dependent on other family members, let them care for the patient and I should step back. Yes, that is one of the things that you can do, which you can take it as an opportunity. But if there are lack of resources, you don't really have that opportunity, take in support of your friends and family to at least have that space to relax, to rejuvenate yourself as an individual, where you can seek support from the family to have that minimal attendance help. Okay, if the patient is doing some kind of activity, or maybe they are sitting and talking, ask your family to engage where you cannot be on the alert mode and you can relax at that point of time. The next thing is be open to technology support. Yes, a human involvement is something which is exceptional because it involves emotion, it involves the personal touch. But when we say take the support of technology, we are not asking you leave the caregiver at home. You can go to work and you can just put the camera and be there for them. Okay, but then the stressor that you would have, even after having an attendant back at home, if you're going to work, there will be a stressor. Is my mother doing fine? Is she okay? Did she have her lunch? That resource of having the technological supports, you can just check it in the camera that, oh, okay, yeah, she's doing fine. I don't have to feel that discomfort, whatever the kind of stress that I am experiencing, because there's something that I can check on and comfort myself. That's one thing. The next thing that's there is, yes, if there is a support system, there are a lot of times when there are challenges with people, they are not able to convey, they don't know where they are going. Certain times people end up wandering in a lot of diseases. People end up wandering, they feel restless and they start going out, they start walking out of the house. So in those situations, you can take the minimal support of technology by having the GPS trackers. And also there is some other thing that's there is, how can I forget? I always have to remember everything. Don't put yourself onto that stress mode. You can have gentle reminders, technological support of having some alarms, setting some reminder thing. It's okay. Don't blame yourself for everything that you have to write. Oh, how could I forget to write this thing? It could be very simple as asking your, recording it in your phone. Now that we have so many resources available with respect to Google, Apple, and everything, they take up voice commands. Just set that voice command so that it's a reminder and it's comforting for you, and you're not always on the alert mode that, oh, am I doing it right? Is everything going to be okay? Or is it there something that I'm missing? And the most important thing, put yourself on a alert mode where there are emergency support system resources. Try to have your emergency support in place, always handy. And it is not always only you as a person. There has to be a substitute individual who is going to be knowing what is the emergency support. It can be just put it up on the walls, that maybe in a room where you can just put it on a board, or somewhere in the cupboard where you can stick it. What is this emergency medical support? What are the contacts whom they can reach out to in state of emergency, so that you don't have to put yourself always on an alert mode that I have to check my phone, I can't even focus on a meeting that I'm attending because I have to check what if there is something in emergency. Okay, understandable. You're doing everything that you can as a caregiver. So, given that space to yourself, accept the limitation of a situation and try to create that rightful substitutes at that moment. Now, moving on to the next thing that's there is seeking help. There is this most common thing that happens in most of the cultures is like, we as caregivers, we as children, we as parents have to do the best for our child, best for our sibling, best for our parent. I cannot ask anybody else to do. That's going to be wrong. That's ethically wrong. No, it is absolutely okay to take support. You do not have to try doing everything all by yourself and leave yourself into an exhausted mode. Be open to take help. You don't have to feel guilty that should I ask for help? Can I say this? Is it right? Oh, I am denying to take support from my family member, or I am denying to support my mother by taking care. I want to step back. I want to relax. That's wrong. I shouldn't be doing it. No, it is not. If you exist, your responsibilities exist. So it is okay to take up a responsibility to speak up for what kind of support you want. Try to spread your responsibilities across the rest of the individuals, whatever resources that are available for you. You might feel that, oh, I need to leave everything, I need to leave my job, I need to start focusing only towards my family member or my child. There are a lot of individuals, probably a child with special needs. Usually I see parents doing this thing that I need to leave everything and start focusing on my child, and my child is my life now. Okay, that's a good thing only to think of. But if you do it in a practical situation, there's going to be a burnout stage. And after that, you will not hold the same emotion. So it is better to seek additional help. Spread your responsibilities, be it with the external resources or within the family. Spread the responsibilities so that you are able to prioritize and take care of yourself too as an individual. And also, try to set up some regular check-ins for yourself as an individual. How am I doing as a person? Am I doing okay? Am I feeling good? Am I feeling well? That's the basic. Am I feeling well? Is it all fine? Now, this can happen when you have regular checkups for yourself as well as for your family member or the patient, because that will help us to understand where they are, at what situation they are, and at what situation we are. Accordingly, you can strategize the caregiving plan. And if someone is offering support, you don't have to be very, all polite and trying to be like a person who is gentle enough, who is okay, I am a person who will do everything all by myself, I'm a superwoman or a superhero who is going to do everything. No, it's not a right strategy. It is okay to take help, especially when someone is offering the help. Say a yes. Learn to say a yes. Don't think about the background things like what will they think of me if I say immediately yes. Maybe they are just saying it casually. Okay, even if they are saying it casually, give yourself an opportunity. Try to say yes. When we are going for an interview or when we are trying to do some new task, do we really know that we are going to achieve that goal? No, but we still do it. We given our best of efforts, we try to give that benefit of doubt, that opportunity to ourselves that yes, I may achieve it and I'll try my best. Similarly, if some opportunity is coming your way, you will also think about it. If someone is offering you a role, will you be like no at first itself? No, we don't do that. We listen to the role. What is that role? What is it, that opportunity all about? Then we decide whether it's good enough, should I take it up or not. Similar goes with the support system. If someone is offering you assistance, don't be at resistant towards taking that support. Try to say a yes, listen to them, see if that support is a valuable support for yourself, and then try to take that support if you feel that it's something that's going to add a value to your care system. Other than this, please be open to seize back and have some self control on ourselves. Relinquish that self control. Try to step back as and when required. Be open to the concept of stepping back. If you're stepping back, you are not denying or you're not running away from your responsibility. It is just like you're taking a break to give in even more better efforts. Whenever you take a break, when you sleep, every single day when we all are sleeping, does that mean that we are wasting 6 to 8 hours of our life? 6 to 8 hours of our life every single day? No, we are just making an effort that we bounce back, we try to recover and relax well so that we give in our 200% the next morning. Similar goes with the support. Now, when you have to be open to this concept of taking that support, giving yourself that opportunity to step back as an individual. Now, when we are stepping back, we are trying to give in a space. What do we really have to do with that space that we are getting as an individual? Try to use this opportunity to involve yourself into certain relaxation techniques. Now, what are these relaxation techniques? It can be anything of your interest which will help you for a healthy living. The first, some of the examples could be meditation. It's as simple as, you're dedicating 15 minutes of your day to just let go and try to calm yourself down with all that has been happening. Don't have that multiple thoughts in your mind. Just calm down. Think about only the moment. Okay, what am I going to do now? Just sit and relax. Maybe if it is very difficult for you as an individual to meditate, you might have tried, it's not working, it's not helping, because we are individuals who have a habit of wandering thoughts. We cannot sit idle. A human mind is very difficult. It's a skill that we need to learn. So you can start up with a very simple strategy that try to focus on something. Firstly, if you're trying to focus on an object, there is a possibility of interruption, an obstacle, some kind of disturbance coming in. There might be somebody coming into your room, or there might be some crossing by, the thing might fall, whatever it is. So try to eradicate those obstacles. Maybe you can close your eyes, just focus towards one of your body part. It could be your forehead, it could be your breathing, or it could be just your core, your stomach area. It can be any body part, just trying to feel in that emotion and be in the moment and not think about anything else. That's meditation, kind of meditation that you can really try. Other than this, you can also try breathing exercises, slowing your breathing and focusing on taking the deep breaths, which will help you not just with being mindful at that moment and slowing down. It is also going to help you to recover as a bodily functions. You are trying to give in the best. In slowing down, you're giving a cue to your biological self that okay, slow down. So that's where your mind gets a signal that okay, I need to slow down. These are certain cues that we can give in through breathing exercise. The next technique that's there is progressive muscle relaxation. So what is this technique all about? It's where you are trying to tighten your muscles. You're tightening and then relaxing each muscle group. Like for example, you can give it a try for now. Try to place your hand on your stomach area. Feel the muscles that are there by tightening your stomach to the maximum level as much as you can. Hold your breath. Put the count of 3. 3, 2, 1. Then release it slowly. You will not be able to focus on anything else, but it's like a relaxation where you're trying to be mindful and giving an opportunity to your body, overall your body to relax. So you can try this activity as well. Other than this, please take an opportunity to focus towards what you can do as an individual. Now, when you are doing this particular muscle relaxation technique, please, it's a humble request. Start at one end of your body and work through across and stop at another. And don't just try to do something that I try to give it as an example. You don't have to leave it over there as itself. If you want to see the maximum of impact, you can start it with your forehead, then move to your shoulders, then move to your chest area, then to your stomach area, then to your thighs, and then eventually, gradually move down from top to bottom or bottom to top, whatever is your, order of preference. Now, talking about physical activity, we all have this thing. Where is the time? When should I do this physical activity? I'm already doing so much. I am in a physical burnout stage. Why additional physical activity that's required? Now, when we talk about a physical activity, if you are doing a physical activity with the intention of relaxation, that is when it is going to have the maximum impact on our health. Research proves that a physical activity will help you in reducing stress if there are no alignments of responsibilities attached to it. If you're doing it with an agenda, it might be stressful. Like, for example, a person is doing a workout thinking that, oh, I need to lose weight. You have an agenda where you might get, will I be losing? Will I not be losing weight? There's a lot of thoughts that go in. But if you're just walking for 10 minutes without any agenda, oh, I just want to relax, that is going to have a complete different impact on our physical self. Try doing it to the minimal level. You might be thinking, I don't have time at all. Take out that 10 minutes, which is important. Even 10 minutes of exercise can really make a difference in your life. It is not about, the 10 minutes where you are trying to be like, okay, I'll start and I'll stop. I need to be looking at when will this 10 minutes get over and I have to get back to the other responsibilities. You don't have to stress yourself in mid. Try with a relaxation mind where you can set an alarm for just 10 minutes. You don't have to look at your watch for those 10 minutes. Just look at the nature around you, or maybe just try to focus towards, okay, how do you really feel when you walk? Maybe it could be as simple as paying attention towards the steps that you are taking. Some people, you might have seen it in children, they enjoy this the more. So you can reflect on your hobbies, on your interests that you had earlier in your life. This will really help you. While you're taking a walk in a park, you're doing an activity, try to resonate it with something that you have done it as a child, something that you have done it as an individual, which you enjoy the most. Some people like enjoying, walking on a straight line. They try to feel very good, when they are trying to balance and walk on a straight line. That's a thing that helps them. And some people try doing this, they try to keep the steps, you are keeping one step in one box and the other step in another box, making some movements, focusing on it. It just gives a diversion which will help you in reducing your stress levels. Try to relive your hobbies and your interests that you have. It can be any relaxation techniques. Reliving your hobbies are nothing but a form of relaxation technique. So please make the most of it. The next thing, what is it that we have to do as an individual? Now, when we talk about being a caregiver, an educated caregiver, the first thing that we need to be knowing is we have to be understanding what the disease is, understanding what the illness is, how that illness progresses, and how do I have to incorporate some new caregiving skills which might be necessary, which I should be open to learn. This is something that's very important for a caregiver. We have to be open to learning. You cannot be like, I have been doing this all through and it worked. Why do I have to change now? It's so difficult to change now. We have to, because the person is also changing. Do we really say, like, when we are getting into a new role, you get promoted from one level, suppose you are at a level 8, you get promoted to level 9, do we say, oh, why do I have to do new work? No, we don't. We understand that because there is a process. Similar goes when you educate yourself as a caregiver, you will understand that the disease progresses. So for that reason, I need to be open to learning, to new things, adapting to the changes that comes my way. Rely on your support groups that are there. Attend the support group sessions that can be helpful. You can get an opportunity to understand better and cope up with the behaviors and the personality changes that come in within yourself because you are connecting with other caregivers. These support group sessions are nothing but you try to bring in individuals together where there are different caregivers. So when you get to an opportunity to interact, listen to other caregiver experiences, you will get an idea where what is it that I can do for myself also, as well as for the patient, to the best possible ways. That is the support that we can learn. The next thing is, please be open to talking to your professionals about everything that you experience. If you're not clicking with the professional, try to find the right professional just in the initial stages itself. Talk to the professionals about everything that you experience for the patient, for your own self as a caregiver, and how you really can make a difference. Now we might think, how does it really help? I'm on the ground, I'm on the field. They might not even know. There are thousands of individuals who are reaching out and talking to the professionals. So we are somewhere trained to give you and guide you some strategies which might help you. If you're not able to click with the professional, that's absolutely okay. Reach out to other professional where you can get a second opinion. I'm not asking you that you leave that professional completely and try to jump from one professional to another one professional. No, please don't do that. Stick by your first option, but then have a second opinion which might give you an opportunity to learn. These offerings you can attend by the sessions that you get, the webinars, the seminars, reaching out to other resources. There are a lot of doctors who talk about on their blogs, on their pages, Instagram handles, YouTube. Try to reach out to and understand what is the thing that you need to really do to get into that skin of being a good caregiver. When we say a good caregiver, doesn't mean only providing good care. Good caregiver is also about trying to give in the best of care to yourself as well as to your family member or the other patient. You may find it really helpful to talk to the professional carer and caregivers about how they are coping up. This is one thing that we feel very comfortable, because we know now that they know everything, I am okay. And especially when it comes to the mental health challenges, the mental health disorders, there's a lot of stigma and taboo still there in the world. So we are not open to talking about to other caregivers. We are not open to talking about it in the family to know different strategies. But now that you're open to your professional, your doctors, your psychologists, please reach out to them, talk to them, understand what is it that you can do, and try to get some strategies to learn to cope up with the challenges of the disease. And you will also get an opportunity to accept the uncertainties about the future that's coming, because there's a lot of stress that's there. What is going to happen in the future? But the professionals will be able to guide you through that way. So please make the most of it. Now, when we talk about taking care of oneself, yes, we need to have food on time, we need to take care of our exercise, we need to make sure that we rest well. I did try to convey to the maximum levels that these are the first two priorities. Other than this, it is important for you to have your timely health checkups. Now, why is it important? There might be a lot of things which we are not aware of. There are 70% of the diseases or the disorders are genetic. Now, with that, if you already see a family member suffering, do you really want to put yourself into that stage, because you're already going through a lot of triggers of stress, responsibility, very minimal exercise, very minimal of diet, not a good diet, you're misplacing, having certain times you're eating, certain times you're not eating, and you're not even getting rightful rest. So there could be a chance that put yourself into that trigger. And especially this moral thoughts that we have, we have been stereotyped all through our life that we need to be there, we need to do the service, care for others. The initial stages we start forgetting ourselves, we don't remember about ourselves until it's too late. So please do not do that. Set some timely reminders for your health checkup consultations, which will help you. If you are going to stay healthy, You will be able to contribute to the best of your ability to the other individual. You will be able to give in your best to the next person, whomever you are trying to provide the best of care. Also, give yourself an opportunity to learn to smile, learn to enjoy, learn to laugh, learn to have some relaxation time where you are giving an opportunity to yourself for to let out that emotions that you're experiencing, to experience, giving an opportunity to oneself to experience some positive emotions, which is going to be nothing but a guiding light in providing the best of care. Please remember that as a caregiver, it is very hard for you to find time to yourself. But staying connected with your friends, family, and trying to do the activities that you really love is important for your well being. Even if it is only for 5 minutes, just talking to a friend for 5 minutes, or maybe just 30 minutes a week. Oh, 5 minutes, hardly a thing that I really experience. I would need at least 30 minutes once in a week is also okay. Please try to carve out that pockets of time. It's just for yourself, where you can work on yourself, understand what you are going through, how you can prioritize and make things better for yourself. And always give a reminder to yourself. Maybe you can put up being a caregiver, it's very difficult certain times to realign ourselves. Put some quotes within your room, your bedroom, which are going to act as visual cues, give you a reminder that I need to take care of myself to give my best on the next day. So try to have these motivational quotes, which is really going to help you as an individual. That's all I had to say for the session. Any questions? Obaid and Jocelyn, if you can just support me on if there are any
Yeah, sure.
questions in the chat box.
Sure, Atia.
Atya, as of now, there are no questions.
Okay, great. I hope it was a
Yeah,
relatable topic.
there's a question. If
Yes.
I need to take a break meaning if there is no caregiver around, what can be done?
So
Then
when okay, so when you are taking a
is
break when there is no support available, you really need that break. When we say a break does not mean that break means you completely have to go out of sight and be all by yourself. Slowing down is also a form of break within the work that you're doing. Maybe align them. For example, you're sitting with a patient, maybe you're doing certain activities for them. Slow down. It's okay if you are trying to put certain things for the next hour if it's just overwhelming for you. Like, for example, I need to make the person do an exercise, but I genuinely need a break. I'm completely exhausted, no energy. Align them with a different schedule or different activity at that moment. Maybe something that they can just look at the pictures, or maybe giving them a board game, something that they can see through, or just putting up some songs which they can listen to, which they are comfortable with, so that you get an opportunity to slow down. I hope I was able to answer your question. Any follow-up questions, please add.
yes, Atya. Sometimes things do take a turn and you stay away from your family. How do you calm yourself as you are always in doubt about the situation? That's another question. How do you calm yourself? when you're away from the situation?
Okay, so for this, that's one of the things that I called out, which I would like to repeat. Take the support of technology. So when you are away from your family, there is some caregiver that's there, right? Align your support systems in such a way that you are getting the updates, frequent updates. It could be like, okay, an update for probably couple of hours, every 2 to 3 hours the caregiver is updating, how the individual is feeling. And now the caregiver cannot update each and every family member. There could be a couple of family members who are staying in different places. Set up a group where the caregiver is just updating, taking a picture if they're doing something, how do they feel, how they have expressed. Because there is also a guilt as a family member that I don't know if they're enjoying it, they're feeling comfort or not. Just asking that attendant or the additional in-house caregiver to put in some pictures that are going to help you, give you that sense of relaxation. Other than that, also you can take an opportunity, which is, if that's doable, you are coming on to terms and conditions with the organizations that I would like to have a camera within my home space, except, where my caregiver is, the patient is there maximum of the time. Then you can really do that, because external caregivers are not really always comfortable. So you have to sign in terms and conditions with those, aligned to all those rules and regulations, and then set up this. So make use of the technology that's there. I understand technology has its adverse effects, but when technology was developed, why was it developed? To bring us closer. So please make the most of it.
Uh, how can one be compassionate to oneself?
Can I get an
How
example?
can you be self-compassionate?
How can you be self-compassionate? So the first thing that's there is being compassionate with oneself starts with self-love. Do you really love yourself as an individual? So that has to be there. Now, the first major thing is self-love. Then the next thing that also is there is, you need to learn to understand that you cannot always be trying to give in the best to others. To give in best to others, like I said earlier, it is important for you to be into the rightful space. And when you take care of yourself, when you be compassionate towards yourself, then only you can give in that emotional, that financial, that logistic support to the other person. So it is a requirement. The first thing is self love, but if that is lagging or that is getting affected due to various reasons, that self love is not necessary that every person is at its peak of self love. Certain people do have self doubt related to the family situations, to our work, to the circumstances in and around us. If that is missing, then you need to give a strong reminder to yourself that if you want to be very good with respect to caregiving, you have to prioritize yourself as an individual first.
Uh, how
If
should
there
the
are any follow,
caregiver balance? How should the caregiver balance his or her mood with the patient's moods?
okay, so when it comes to balancing the moods with the patient's mood, it is, you cannot try to bring in everything on the same page. These are two different individuals. I as a person and my mom as a person are two different individuals. We can't expect everybody to feel the same. Now we need to be empathetic as a caregiver to understand and try to acknowledge their emotion. Now something that is not able to reach to my expectations for myself as an individual, I need to take the support of extended family, friends, to let out and express my emotions and get a closure to whatever I am experiencing.
Regarding anxiety, there are three questions. I'll try and clubbing them together. How can we overcome overwhelmness, anxiety, overthinking, and how to overcome future stress as we are anxious, whether things will get done in time and positive?
Okay. So when we talk about feeling anxious, and there is something called as anxiety. The first thing that's there in our mind is what is it that's going to happen? We are anxious about a lot of things that we experience in our life. Now, with respect to anxiety, we need to remember that. Try to realign yourself with the facts first. What is it that's happening? Now, why bother or stress yourself about something that you cannot change? Is it in your hand to control the illness? You're trying to give in the best of support to your family member. But if still that's coming in, you cannot really change. So, me sitting and getting anxious and thinking repeatedly, having those thoughts about something, is it really going to change things? No, it is not really going to change things. So, try to realign yourself with the current situation of the facts that what is happening at this moment. And the first thing, when you're anxious, you will not be able to do all of these thought brainstorming. First, calm yourself down. Once you feel anxious, calm yourself down with any relaxation activity. It can be breathing exercise, it can be meditation, anything. Try to calm yourself down. A good food, just taking a walk, just watching, browsing over social media, it can be anything. Once you're calm, then brainstorm. Look out for the facts. That will help you to give a direction to your feelings. Any other questions?
Yeah, there's just one more that's come up. This person is a mother of a 7-month-old kid going through too much mood swings. 1 second. Going through too much mood swing and hypersensitive, making me negative-minded person also worried at the same time. She's also worried at the same time.
Okay. So when we talk about taking care of anybody as an individual, especially this happens with the parents. Like I need to, because you are a new parent, there are a lot of emotions that are there that I need to give in the best. There's so much to do there. I have to do this also, this also, this also. I have to provide the best because I'm a parent. I'm liable to it. Okay, you are a parent. You have to give in your best. But for that, the first thing that's there is you also need to learn to acknowledge what you are going through. Now, it is because you have recently had an experience of lot of changes in your environment, within your physical body, and with also with respect to your relations. Because earlier, your relations were like family, siblings, partner, extended family, everybody. You had an opportunity. There's another person now. So it just gets difficult. We feel that it's very easy to adapt to any change, but it takes in a lot of effort, and especially with children or with any person of disability where there is progression, it is very difficult. Like considering about a child who's growing. Now, there are a lot of changes. The child who was 3 months old is not the same of the challenges you are going to have for a child who is 7 months old. There are going to be a lot of changes. You learn the child had a difficulty with respect to, the basic activities like incontinence, with respect to hygiene. You're learning itself, okay, how to bathe the child, how to feed the child, what are their choices. And within next 2-3 months, the choices are completely changed. Now they are running, they are crawling. Some of them are crawling, some of them are hopping. Now you really don't know. There's also an environment around you which you have to make a lot of changes in. That brings in an extreme emotional response. So you need to learn to accept what's coming your way rather than trying to be the perfect individual. Be the best of you can. And when we talk about seeking support from extended family, seeking support from partners, seeking support from your parents, it is not wrong. It is just like you are learning to outsource your task. Is it something wrong? Now you might see a lot of companies in the world are doing a task. Like for example, let us take an example of one of the biggest organization, Amazon. They're doing a lot of work. Now, when it comes to their work, do they not have their subordinates in different locations across the globe? There is other work also being done. Like for example, if you talk about the relevance, the authenticity, if there is any kind of trolls or anything that's coming back in, to have a check on it. There's complete another organization looking at that work. Does it mean be it Google, be it Amazon, they don't have that caliber? They have it. It's just that to give in the best, you need to seek the support sometimes. You can't be trying to do everything by yourself. Similar goes with ourselves as an individual. Being a mother, it's okay if you are taking support. And sir, you don't have to feel guilty that I am doing everything for my child. I will only play with my child. I will not give an opportunity for others to play with my child. I want to experience that also. Your child is there. Today you don't experience it. Tomorrow you can. Every day you are with the child. Give that pause to yourself. That will help you to slow down, and also it will help you to vent out your emotions. So understand where that is coming from. Is it from your physical self? You can consult your doctors to understand, professionals to understand, is it because of the physical changes that's adding an additional stressor, or is it because of the current changes that are there in the environment? That is the only reason. Once you know the reasons, you can accordingly work towards it. Any other questions?
Not at the moment right now. There is one which I am unable to figure out. Just a second. Can discussion with someone be in the category of caregiver? I'm not able to figure that question out. If you can figure it out, please answer. Thank you.
Okay. If there are no more questions, Jocelyn, you can take over.
Yeah, I don't think there are any more questions. Thank you, Atya, for the lovely presentation and all the insights into this caregiver session that you just conducted. It was, I think, well taken. Thank you, everyone, for logging in. Have a good evening. I will now close the session.